That's it, boys. It's official. The 11.0.5 20th anniversary event has a release date. Blizzard has given it to us, and it is October 22nd. Prepare yourselves. October 22nd on that reset, it'll go live. All the anniversary events will be, up and kicking. We'll be able to do all the things that we've been talking about all the way through until January 26th. So on the 22nd of October, you'll head back to the Caverns of Time in Tanaris and start doing all of the fun things that are coming with the anniversary event. So what are those fun things? Well, you'll be able to earn a bunch of new currencies. Of course, Blizzard loves to introduce currencies to this game, and use those currencies to buy a bunch of things, including armor, all kinds of stuff. This is what I get for trusting. You know, I'm not doing this. Yeah, I trusted myself on that cough. And a bunch of other cool, fun things to do. So, Black Rock Depths raid, we know that. A 10 to 15 man raid. That'll be going live with some actual gear upgrades. I mean, I'm talking about full-on heroic raid item level gear. You'll be able to get and purchase individual slots for things that you want. So, say you've still got those bracers hanging on to that from questing. You haven't been able to upgrade them yet or get anything to fill that slot. You'll be able to pick bracers from the currencies, from the raid, to be able to fill that slot with some heroic level raid gear, which is really, really nice. Of course, we've got the tier 2 armor sets. We know all about them. They're absolutely beautiful. You'll be able to buy them with 60 of the new currency that we'll be getting for this event. Don't forget, you'll be gathering those by doing the daily and weekly quests from the event, of course, participating in all the other things that come with it. A bunch of fun things to do, of course. We have the Time Walking Classic Dungeons. That's right. Dead Mines, Zul'Farrak, Dire Maul East and West Wings, and Strathome. I cannot wait to cull a city with my blonde boy Arthas once again. I'm very excited to do that, and I will definitely be doing that on stream. A bunch of other things, including earn new mounts, service reward appearances, and more. Yeah, there'll be a bunch of little mini games and things to do at the event outside the Caverns of Time, of course. You can also kill new world bosses. That's right. There's going to be a bunch of new world bosses in Tanaris and spread out throughout Azeroth. Those world bosses include the Doomwalker, Azergos, Lord Kazak, the Dragons of Nightmare, along with a couple other additional party crashers in the Sands of Tanaris. That's right, and yes, you're seeing like the Shaw of Anger and stuff like that. The mounts that typically drop off of those mounts will be, the mounts that drop off those bosses will be available if you kill the bosses in Tanaris. So that's very cool. I wonder if you get to double dip on that and actually go kill the Shaw of Anger in Pandaria too every week, so you can kill him twice. I don't know, but anyways, you'll be able to get the mount off of him if you kill him in Tanaris. Don't forget, there's also the Anchorage gate opening event through the Chromie timeline stuff. You could do that. That's going to be a fun little thing. 10 to 20 players. It's an instanced event, basically. You'll queue up for it, go do it, and of course get a bunch of rewards and things like that. This one we'll talk about a little bit later, but the guest relations is in fact a Secrets of Azeroth continuation. So if you participated in that stuff and you really liked it, that was a very fun thing. Hold on. It's on your birthday's coming up, Tundra. Yes, happy early birthday, man, to my mod. Oh, well, the greatest Australian in chat, of course. Also, yes, this thing will continue on. We'll talk a little bit more about the Secrets of Azeroth guest relations thing going on. It's actually going to be a pretty cool thing. Korak's Revenge returns. Yes, so if you're into that PvP stuff, the throwback battleground inspired by the earliest days of Alterac Valley will return. Of course, we've got the trading post rewards. These shields on the backs of your characters, absolutely glorious. Can't wait to get the Lordaeron one. It freaking looks great. Also, the Drakthir spreading their wings and being able to become a bunch of other classes. That's very nice. And they'll get their squadron form. Will they be able to fly in packs of 3? Scaly Boys unite. You can now fly to the Goldshire Inn on Moonguard all together at night and do the things you want to do in the inn, of course. The new Shaman Ascendance forms will also be given to us. We already know this. Absolutely beautiful. There's actually 2 others. The old original one and the one that they first showed us with the long hair. You'll be able to use a glyph to be able to pick which one you actually want to look like. That's it for the anniversary event. Big things coming with that. I did mention the Secrets of Azeroth thing, you know, the whole guest relations thing and how that's going to work. It's a bit different. So that's not going to be all available in the first week. This will actually start kicking off on October 8th, and additional secrets will open up on November 4th. So you're going to have to wait 1 week after this event kicks off. The first set of quests or secrets will be available on the 28th to do, and then like I said, the rest of them will kick off a week later, so 2 weeks into the event before you can really do all of the cool guest relations stuff. There's going to be cool rewards to be had, very cool secrets. I'm sure all the secret finding communities and discords out there will love this thing. It's actually pretty cool, I think, and I enjoyed the secrets of Azeroth and reading about it, what people were finding, so this thing should be pretty fun for the community to talk about. This week, Time Walking is back, and Time Warp badges will be something to use in the anniversary event. There'll be a bunch of things available for you to buy with your Time Warp badges, so you're going to want to be able to, have enough to buy things. I know a lot of people have a bunch of stores of Time Warp badges, including myself, but if you don't, do this week's Time Walking event. This is a great chance to get in and get a bunch of Time Warp badges before the anniversary event kicks off. This might be the last one, in fact. I'd have to check the in-game calendar, but I believe this is probably the last one before the anniversary event kicks off. So you could also, if you don't care about Time Warp badges, there's another way to get a coffer key this week. One of your caches you can get for doing 5 Wrath of the Lich King Time Walking dungeons. So if it's one of your first 2 chests for this week, you'll get a coffer key in it, so that's pretty good. And then, of course, Ulduar Time Walking Raid will be available. You can go in and do that. You can also get another cache from that. And, oh my god, a chance to get Invincible Reigns? Hold on, what is this? I didn't know this. A rare amount for, oh my god, oh shit. Okay, we might do this then. Yeah, I don't have Invincible yet. Surprise, whatever. You guys know I've been chasing that thing down forever. Anyways, that's probably been a thing for a long time. But yes, Time Walking Wrath of the Lich King is coming back this week. Get in and get it done if you need more Time Walking badges, of course. Last, here, Sparks of Omen, yes, are now available. It is that bi-weekly thing. Sparks of Omen, and of course, a charge to your catalyst will be available starting now, so you can get in, create another piece of tier set. I do suggest going in and doing the raid if you're going to do the raid this week before you convert something to tier, because you might get that thing that you've actually chosen to convert. So that's always feels shitty if you decided to convert something to tier, or if you just want to do it today, just make sure you convert one of the tier pieces that drop later in the raid. So say you want heroic tier piece and heroic, I'm just making this up right now. I don't know which one drops off the second to last boss, the console, or a Queen Ansarek, but whatever drops late, say it's the Helm, probably best converting that, because you're less likely to kill that boss this week if you haven't progressed to that point yet, rather than converting something that would drop off to, say, the second boss. So that's always a good strategy. And then, of course, Sparks of Omen. Yes, you get another Fractured Spark. You'll be able to create another Spark of Omen. You should be able to this week, so more crafting for crafters if people love that. Sam, we doing Time Walking? Maybe. Maybe. We typically did, but we'll see how progression goes this week with Heroic and everything else. Ulduar is a shit show. I'm not going to lie. It's my least favorite of the Time Walking, but we'll see if we actually get in and get that done this week. Zalatas Bargain is the thing this week. You know what that means. Dispellers beware and healers beware. It's your time to shine. Basically, the Void Rifts pop up. You got to dispel them or heal through them. If you don't, the mobs you have pulled will heal, and if you do, you get a 4% crit strike and 2% max health per stack. So there you go. Do the thing. It's not as bad as the last week's one. I forgot what the one with the mobs, because they just pop up at such inopportune times. But so far, the Zalatas Bargain stuff, they've been working on it a lot, and I think it hasn't been too bad. My favorite, personally, is the Orbs one. It's the easiest one to deal with. You just take the orb to the asshole, and you've essentially done the mechanic. It's pretty good. Moving on to Mythic Raid BoEs. That's right. They are now available in the auction house. WoW is officially pay to win once again, boys and girls. If you miss the pay to win days, they are now here. Typically, during the Race to World First, Blizzard does not allow the BoEs from Mythic Raid to be purchased on the auction house because they don't want it to affect the Race to World First. So up until then, they are bind on pickup. But now they are once again BoEs. You will be seeing them in the auction house. And if you're a WoW token Andy or just a gold collector Andy, yes, you can buy some nice Mythic Raid level BoEs now, once again on the auction house. Pay to win, boys and girls. Just kidding. It's not really, but it kind of is. Anyways. No 3% damage buff in Narubar Palace this week. If you didn't know, there is a basically soft nerf to the raid that will be coming. So there is a 3% damage buff that you will get by completing a quest. Now, what is that quest? You have to basically kill 16 bosses, okay? 16 bosses from the raid. You can collect this quest, the finer things, from the outside of the Narubar Palace raid, and you will get one of these Narubar finery things every time you kill a boss, okay? You need 16 of them. to be able to get this thing that'll give you a 3% damage and healing buff in the raid forever. For the rest of the raid time that this is open, you will get this buff. The thing is, this week, it is capped at 8 of these. So you can only kill 8 bosses to get this, and then next week you'll be able to kill the rest to finish out the quest. This is like a rolling thing, so they're going to raise this cap, so you'll eventually be able to do like normal and heroic in a single week and get this. But for now, it's capped at 8. I think every 2 weeks, they'll probably raise that cap, so eventually if somebody new comes in, they can fill this thing out in a single week. But yes, Ian talked about this, how they feel like they've been trying to figure out what is the best way to deal with raid, because when it comes to raid progression, they understand that a lot of guilds don't like the feeling of only progressing on a boss or finally killing a boss because it got nerfed. So he's talked about they feel like maybe buffing players is the better way to go, and I think this is the first iteration of that we're seeing here. So essentially a 3% buff across the board for everybody. It's basically a 3% nerf to the raid. That's the way you can look at it. So once everyone starts to get this quest done, get the bosses killed, you'll be 3% better at the raid. Right? The raid will be 3% easier, basically. So, yeah, again, next week will be the first time people can actually finish this out, complete the quest, and get the buff of 3%. It was 2.25, by the way, on the PTR, but it looks like they've raised it to 3. The way I see Blizzard doing this is if things are still difficult for teams, they'll continue to buff this rather than nerf the raid.
Use another death.
Cause up to bath. Yeah, I don't know. Koza TBF, thank you so much for the Prime sub, man. 2 months. Appreciate it a lot. Death Knight of our Scourge. So yeah, basically, they'll probably keep buffing this instead of nerfing the raid. That's the new way they want to do things, and it's probably not a bad idea. It probably does feel better to get buffed rather than see the raid get nerfed. Speaking of raid, here it is, boys. Week 4. This is the final week before the heroic talent changes that we just saw go live yesterday. So be weary of this. This chart will likely change the next time we look at it next week. But as of right now, prior to all these hero talent changes, this is the current DPS standings. Let's check it out. Overall damage, Fire Mage pumping. Pumping and dumping, and Arcane Mages. Look at that. We are in the hour of the Mage now, and the hour of the Shaman with Enhancement Shaman. One of the best things to bring to your raid right now. Enhancement Shamans, they enhance, and they do big numbers. I mean, how could you not bring one? Mage is doing really good, and so are Death Knights. I've seen Frost DKs pumping their dicks off in raid. It's been really good to see. My fellow DKs, love you guys. Unholy doing great too. So right now, I mean, look at it. And you got Elemental Shaman sitting up there in the top 7 as well. So you got Mage, Death Knight, and Shaman taking up 6 of the top 7 spots with 2 different specs each. Those classes are doing really well right now, to say the least. Beast Mastery Hunter also doing really good. Again, this is prior to some of those nerf changes and stuff, but the thing is, Blizzard did buff AoE damage a lot for Beast Mastery Hunter. Their single target got nerfed. Some of that stuff did happen last week, so some of that is reflected in here, but a lot of the hero talent changes aren't. So Beast Mastery Hunter, I saw a lot of them complaining on the forums about what has happened to them, but in all honesty, they basically got a 14% buff to their AoE damage, even though they lost about 4% on their single target. Still looking like they're going to be in a good spot. I wouldn't worry about it. I think Beast Mastery is still going to be pretty good. Marksmanship, Havoc here, rounding out the top 10, basically. And then we got, look at the bottom here. Demonology, Warlock, I mean, my God. Holy crap, that's not looking good. A Shadow Priest, getting a lot of buffs coming soon. Rogues, we know they're in trouble lately. They're getting a lot of buffs, so we'll see how that all pans out for them. Furry Warrior, once the AoE champion, now sitting here at the bottom. They got nerfed into the ground. I don't know what happened to them. But we'll see what happens with them going forward. Let's take a look at now damage to bosses. Of course, this is who's doing the best in the raid right now when it comes to single target damage. Beast Mastery Hunter sitting at the top. Again, this is prior to a lot of the reworks. I still think Beast Mastery Hunter is going to be sitting in the top 5 even after some of these nerfs. But right now, they were sitting at the top by a wide margin. So that's why I don't think a lot of these nerfs are going to really drop them off too far. Arcane Mage, Enhancement Shaman, Arms Warrior, Fire Mage here, wrapping up the top 5. Ass Rogue, still good in single target, and I think they will continue to be, even though AoE Rogues have been having a little bit of trouble, but I think some of the buffs that are coming are going to help them a lot. Feral Druid, Unholy DK, and then we continue to work down here. Frost DK, really a champion when it comes to AoE, but not so much when it comes to single target, it looks like. And then Warlock, I mean, my God, the highest Warlock spec right now is Affliction. sitting here at like below mid-tier. And this is why we can't get any damn warlocks to come to raid. Shit, we can't get anyone summoned because all the warlocks, everybody switched off. They don't want to play warlock anymore. Retribution Paladin. So I feel like Retribution Paladin is very skill-based or something, because I've seen plenty of geared-ass, really good ret pallies come into raid and pump huge numbers. But then they sit here in like mid-tier. So, I mean, there's, you know, skill always offsets these things. You got to remember, guys, the difference between here and here is not that massive. The true difference between here and here in an actual raid is really skill-based. When it comes to this is all perfect parsing. I mean, we're talking about you literally hit every cooldown perfectly, you have best in slot everything, and this is how it works out. Most of the time, it's not going to be that way. So in all actuality, all these guys are viable. You just got to be good. That's it. And these are always fun to look at just to see who's got the biggest dick in the chat, basically. But otherwise, it really does come down to skill for the most part. Let's see who the biggest movers up and down were here. Looks like the biggest mover down was Destro Warlock 5 spots down and Demonology Warlock 5 spots down. So 2 Warlock specs tied for the biggest movers down. I don't know what it is. Somebody at Blizz HQ just hates Warlocks right now. But I think they are getting some good stuff coming forward here. So we should start to see them move back up. The biggest movers up are Devastation Evoker and Balanced Druid. Each of them moved 4 spots up since the last time we looked at these charts. That's good for them. They're not really S tier right now. Devastation is doing pretty good, actually. But otherwise, we've seen a lot of the same here. With Mage specs, Shaman specs, and Death Knights doing really, really good. And Hunters not doing too bad either. Those are your tops right now, and that is all in terms of news. That's what happens when they nerf us to hell. Yeah, the thing is, are you talking about Fury Warriors? I mean, my God, their AoE numbers were absolutely insane. Off the charts. Like, if you didn't bring a Fury Warrior into your Mythic dungeon, Mythic Plus run, you were like handcuffing yourself, because their AoE damage was so S tier. So I knew that was going to get nerfed, but I think they went a bit too far in that direction. No big swings. No, nobody. We've seen times where people move like 11 spots on these charts. So yeah, no crazy movement here. But that's going to happen in the next one. I'm expecting the next chart, with all of the reworks to hero talents, we're going to see some huge numbers in terms of movement here. A lot of people are going to fly up and down this chart. Will you go over tank and healers tier lists when the new changes come in? Yeah, I'll try to find some. That is a really good point, S-Floor. Yeah, I'll try to look at some healer. I'm a tank, so that's relevant to me. So yeah, I will. I'll do that. We got to wait 1 week, basically. The changes went into effect yesterday, so we'll have to wait basically 1 week. So next week, Wednesday, I'll probably be able to look at those numbers.